Hello, and welcome to Niner Fifth Radio's weekly recap news show. I'm your host, Jamie. Um, Here on my other side is my co host, Jason.
Hi.
Hello, everybody. Um,
What's doing? How's it going this week?
Hi, guys. So this is Niner Fifth Radio's weekly recap news recap show. Basically, we're just going over the news for the week. You guys know the drill by now. Um, So first things first, we're gonna do some housekeeping stuff real quick, and then so that is follow all of our social media platforms. We're on Twitter at Niner Faithful R. We're on Facebook and Instagram at Niner Faithful Radio, and we also stream live on Twitch and YouTube at Niner Faithful Radio. Um, please follow all of those. Give us a like, a follow, whatever you guys want to do. Please give us some love on all those sites. We'd love to hear from you guys. Looks like we already got a comment. Damien, hello. Welcome. Welcome.
What's up, Damien? How you doing, brother?
Hello. Um, yeah, that's basically our social media platform stuff. Just want to get that out there real quick. Um, so first thing we're gonna talk about real quick is we're all football fans here. We like football. I like watching football. Monday night, I actually did not get a chance to watch the game. I was working. But Monday night at the Bills in Cincinnati game, um, Bills, is he a safety? I believe he's a safety.
Can't remember if it was safety or I think it was a safety. Might have been
Safety.
defensive
Um,
player.
DeMar Hamlin um, basically had cardiac arrest on the field, from what I can understand. Had to have CPR on the field, um, and was transported to the Cincinnati hospital um, around the area. Um, right now, the latest update that I see from the Bills organization, if I could find it, it went away.
He's actually quote unquote okay. He's awake.
Yeah,
They have pulled the tube out of him, so he is breathing on his own.
that's
Apparently,
huge.
he yeah no, it was just like he's went from pretty much dead on the field for like 8 minutes Monday.
Hmm.
For more or less held the nation you know, for the first time in a long time, like this whole country was actually cheering for one singular thing. It was kind of nice for this whole week.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, this morning, everything had been trending right. He woke up this morning, uh, called the team, gave his team a little pep talk. I guess he FaceTimed the whole team. Yeah,
Hmm.
it was insane. And then this motherfucker, one of the first things he asked is, "Did we win the game?" I'm like, "Fucking shit, man."
I
You
know.
wake up and the first thing you're like, "Hey, coach, did we win?" It's like, no, you've been like in a coma or cardiac
I
arrest and then
I
everything.
think the doctor or nurse, whoever was in there with him, said, "Yeah, you guys, you won the game of life,
Yeah,
my friend." Yeah, it's it was very nice though. Like a lot of the NFL teams on their social media platforms
it was
changed
all of
to
them.
all of them changed to, like, I believe his number
Yep.
and all of that stuff, and a lot of them were said some really nice things. So it was definitely very nice to see everybody united around this guy, because it's very scary, like, situation that happened to him, and it's honestly kind of a miracle that he's okay. If he was down that long, I didn't know how long he was down, but being
He
down any
was. They
significant
did.
time is not great.
They put him into the. From what I understand, and everything hasn't been like 100% confirmed. He was. They put him into the ambulance. Then they had to bring him back out because his heart stopped. One of the
Oh
Bills,
wow,
staff gave him 8 minutes of CPR.
it's a long time.
And I don't know if anybody knows about 8 minutes of CPR. That is basically doing a marathon and a full sprint. I've
Yeah,
had to perform actual CPR before, and I only did it for like 3 minutes. You are absolutely exhausted. I could not imagine doing straight CPR for 8 minutes. Like, I don't know if someone else was tagging in with them or anything like that, but yeah. Also, this weekend, I don't want to say it's a memory, but like maybe I guess you can call it in support of him. Teams are allowed to put like a number three on their 30-yard line, like
Uh,
with like the blue from the Bills. They're allowed to wear during warm-ups wear like Hamlin Strong shirts or number three or anything like that. So you know, it's good to see just because something brought everybody together for a little while. So it's good to see all that.
yeah.
I honestly think we have you seen about his charity where he was had a charity where he was doing it for kids and he was only trying to raise $2,500. It's over 7 mil. He's going to see
Yeah.
a number and have another heart attack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He is going to freak the fuck out when he sees it.
I believe it's his GoFundMe account.
Yes. Yep.
Um, uh, that he's raising. Everybody's been donating to it like crazy.
I
It's
threw in there.
well past the goal. Um, so it's crazy. Like a lot of very well known NFL players have donated to it and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I'm just really glad he's okay. It's scary. I got a text from my dad saying he basically died. I'm like,
More or less.
you don't see that happen all the
I think it was
time.
1971 was the only time someone had actually died on the field.
That's so
But that
crazy.
but it's weird because I guess that guy was like smoking. That's when he used to smoke on the sideline, and I guess when they
Mm,
find out he had like 85% artery cloggage, and it's just like, yeah, you were waiting on dying on that one.
jeez. Yeah. But it's good that he's okay, and at least like as okay, he's gonna be recovering for a while.
Yeah,
Um, and stuff. They did cancel that game, and I believe they're going to. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but I do not believe that game is going to be replayed.
it's nope. It's a whole clusterfuck for the AFC playoffs right now.
Yeah,
There's
so
so many things that can. It's almost to the point where it's like I'm kind of more interested in the AFC just because I want to see because now they got to play the AFC Championship at like a neutral site, which that's going to
mhm,
piss off some fans. It tossed out fantasy leagues. I mean, the ripple effects from all this have just it's like wow. Like
yeah,
I have a league where I had Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and T Higgins. And by the way, let's not forget about T Higgins and all this. T Higgins was the guy that Hamlin tackled. He felt guilty as shit. Like, what did I do wrong to almost kill somebody? It's like, dude, you're fine. Because
nothing,
I
and it
know I would be guilt stricken like crazy if I was T Higgins. So I've put up some stuff on all our social medias and stuff. It's like, hey man, stay strong. You
yeah,
did nothing wrong. It was a freak accident. It probably
it
won't
was
happen
a
for
complete fluke accident. If you see
yeah.
any, there's some, I believe there's some doctors on social media that are like licensed professionals that are explaining probably what they think happened, what the most likely case of what it happened, and it was not his fault at all. So don't. Hopefully, nobody's going after him, but it was not his fault. It was just a
And for the love
fluke thing
of
that
God,
happened.
do not listen to the crazy idiot saying, "Oh, it's because of the COVID vaccine." Like, shut the
It's not.
fuck up.
It's not.
We're
It's
not
a
all
fluke.
turning into lizard people.
Yeah, it was just a fluke. It was a freak accident that just unfortunately happened. Good news though is of how quickly the medical team responded there and all of that stuff. That he is okay and recovering and still. I'm assuming he's probably still in the ICU.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, he'll be there probably a couple weeks, mind it, depending on how he recovers.
yeah. So yeah, we just wanted to. Felt weird not talking about that with
Yeah, it's
how
been
big of a deal
everywhere.
it's been happened, and it's been a very obvious thing that's happened this week, and it's actually kind of a big deal. So yeah, for sure. I'm just glad he's okay because
Yep.
and just be nice to to all those players who were on the field at that time because that's going to stick with them for a while. So
Yep.
unfortunately,
But
so
it's good he's good. And now let's get into some Niner stuff.
yes, let's talk some Niners stuff. So the Niners did end up winning. We're gonna do a very quick recap of last week. Niners did end up winning the Raiders 37-34 by 3 points. So it was actually a very close game, which we did not think. Um, So that was going to happen. We thought it'd be more of a blowout, but it was not. Ended up winning though, so that's definitely positive news. And
The
stuff
thing
like
with the Raiders is that while they were playing trash football,
mm-hmm.
they have talent. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So they have Josh Jacobs leading the league in rushing. You have Devontae Adams, arguably a top 5 or top 3 probably wide receiver in the league. Darren Waller is a 6'7" tight end, all pro. I mean, they had talent. And like we discussed about it last Friday, was like you always see these trash teams when they've got nothing left to play for. All of a sudden they make like a coaching change, quarterback change, somebody gets hurt. All of a sudden they just start playing well. And not to mention Jason Stidham
He
was
did
pretty
good.
impressive. He was a lot more mobile. Obviously, we haven't seen a whole lot of him. He was pretty damn mobile. Honestly, it was kind of funny to watch him play because the whole time he's out there just smiling. Reminded me a lot like of how like Andrew Luck was playing. Just out there having a good time. He's smiling about everything. Like I said, he's got a pretty good arm, and the lack of tape, and then they had a dynamic change in their offense compared to what they were doing before with Carr at quarterback. And I think, and then even the guys, I mean, Nick Bosa flat out admitted, "Hey, man, we took it a little bit too lightly," and it was like the perfect storm.
Yeah, I think there's definitely Um, while the Raiders have been struggling a lot this year, I do think they have some talent. They obviously have talent on their team. So we'll just have to see what ends up happening with them next offseason. But Niners end up pulling out the win, which is what we care about. So
Damien's got a couple up here.
yep, go ahead.
I think Bosa needs his Scottie Pippen on the defensive line. I think his Scottie Pippen is Eric Armstead. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? I understand. They don't necessarily miss a step, but we'll wait to see till next season with Drake Jackson, who, by the way, had the greatest meme of all time, where he's like, I don't know if you saw that one, where he was talking about where he caught the interception and he was just like, I loved his face on that one. That was great on the
That's
sideline.
funny.
Let's see this. If I was Sean Payton, I'd go to the Raiders. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they, whether you want to stay with Stidham, I don't think they might be able to get one of the no, because they probably they give their draft picks up for Devontae, so they're not going to get one of those top quarterbacks. But I mean, some of the quarterbacks are going to be in free agency. Why not throw Jimmy down there?
I mean, it's possible.
So I mean, like I said, given with what they have on talent, we've seen what somebody can do with that talent.
Mm-hmm.
Like Damien said, maybe Sean Payton wants to go be a Raider. Because that whole AFC West, they're going to be a good again next year,
Yeah.
minus whatever the hell happens with who wants to go to Denver and Russell Wilson with that contract. But the rest of that division, you got the Chargers, who are going to be good again. Obviously, as long as Mahomes and Kelsey are in Kansas City, they'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. Because Josh McDaniels is a terrible coach. I'm sorry. Yeah, he can put together a game plan like he did against us, but otherwise, he's a terrible coach.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with him if the Raiders can afford to get out of his contract and all of that stuff.
They almost can't.
I know. So we'll have to see what ends up happening with that, and all that contract negotiation and stuff. Because I, for some reason, before last week, totally forgot that McDaniel's was in Las Vegas. Like, I don't know why. I remember hearing that he was going there, but I totally forgot.
Because they
And
suck.
stuff like that. Yeah.
It's like I knew we were playing them, but I wasn't paying attention. I knew they were bad. I'd seen little bits and pieces about how bad they were, and then right before when they made the quarterback switch, Devontae Adams did his whole "that's my quarterback" thing for David Carr. And then all of a sudden now he's like, "Oh, maybe I will be a Raider next year." So
we'll see. We'll see. Alrighty. Well, besides that, biggest news is injury report. So I have some injury report to go over real quick. Bring up this. So here is the slide to show you guys the injury report, and I'm going to play a quick little clip from Kyle that's going to read this out for you guys. So just give me 1 second. Here we go.
Dre Greenlaw out, Ambry Thomas out. Eric Armstead, questionable. Kinlaw, questionable. Garoppolo out. Kevin Givens out. Aaron Banks out. Dre Greenlaw out. Ambry Thomas out. Eric Armstead, questionable. Kinlaw, questionable. Garoppolo out.
All right. So that is that. So like he said, Garoppolo, Banks, Gibbons, Greenlaw, and Thomas are all out. Armstead and Kinlaw are both questionable. Big thing is Nick Bosa is clear. McCaffrey is clear. Williams is clear. Purdy, who is on the report, is pretty much clear. And then Debo is officially clear on the injury report, which probably means he'll be playing, but I would not be surprised if it's on more of a limited count because I don't want to overwork him for the playoffs. So
yeah. The report came out today about Jimmy that they're still expecting him to have a late in the playoff push to possibly be back. I mean, if he comes back for NFC Championship game, Super Bowl type of thing, sure. But at the same time, it's like he's not going to start. You can't pull Purdy. That would be one of the dumbest coach's decisions of all time if you were to pull Purdy right now and throw Jimmy back in there.
It would really be,
yeah. Banks, not surprised.
Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
Dre Greenlaw, again, not surprised. Ambry Thomas, he hasn't done much this year. I would guess Javon Kinlaw either doesn't play just because they probably want to. We're in the playoffs, so maybe save him for the playoffs. Unless, and then with Armstead probably plays. But again, a lot of this also is dependent on what goes on in the Giants and the Eagles game. So, if for some, say it's a blowout one way or the other, we're going to start pulling people. So that's a lot of it, even though they're going to say they're only focused on the game at hand, which obviously they are. Excuse me. But at the same time, if you look up at the scoreboard and you see it's third quarter, Giants and or Eagles up by 20, 24 we're going to start pulling people because there's already reports. Like I think the last I looked, they had the Eagles winning by like 15 from Vegas, and that's because the Giants have all but said they're pulling their players. They're resting them for the playoffs run because no matter what they do, their position doesn't change. So, this is not Indianapolis, but Philadelphia going full steam to keep that number one seed. And who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Because if we end up winning against Arizona this weekend and Philly loses, we get the 1 seed.
Correct.
So, odds of that happening, especially if New York pulls their starters, not very high.
No.
So we'll have to see. But I mean, it's a dream.
This guy.
It's a wish. Yeah, we're freaking Skip, man.
Go
ahead.
It was, if you read the whole tweet in its entirety, it's not terrible. The problem is Skip Bayless has been such an asshole for years.
Yeah.
You've lost all sort of like
credibility.
Credibility. Had that been somebody else who had tweeted that exact same thing, everybody might have been like, okay. But Skip Bayless, you're a fucking asshole. It's like, no, people are looking for any reason to get rid of him.
Yeah.
But so like I said, so it's like it's such a tough thing because, like I said, because everybody only showed the bad part of that, they didn't actually show the whole thing, and he worded it terribly. He should have flipped how he wrote it, but the way he wrote it and the timing of it were worse than what he actually was saying. Yeah, but like I said, it's Skip Bayless, so fuck you. I'm all for whatever happens to him.
Oh man, like him and Sharp on that show is just insane. Like I don't know how he deals with it sometimes because it's kind of crazy.
I can't watch that show.
I don't watch it. I've seen clips of it, of some parts, and it's something else. It's something else.
I can't watch it. I've tried before, and it's just like, this is disgusting.
Yeah. 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 Oh, he posted something else. I watched Matt Baum describe on a TV how he drove with two flat tires to find Derek at his peak. Oh my god.
It's weird, like with the injury report, like with this week,
Mhm.
everything has to be taken with a grain of salt because depending on how other things play out, excuse me, either they're playing for the number one seed to get the bye, or we're
Mhm.
just pulling everybody because okay, we can't jump up anymore. Like with Kinlaw, pull him.
Yeah.
With Christian McCaffrey, wherever he has the ankle or whatever that was going on this week, pull him. Debo probably needs a few reps no matter what. Debo probably needs to get his feet back under him kind of thing. So, we're
Mhm.
probably going to play, 10, 15 plays first half, then reassess at halftime, see what happens. Do we need
Mhm.
him? Are we winning? And maybe the Cardinals will just lay down, but I doubt that's going to happen because it's still the NFL.
It's still a divisional game,
Yeah.
regardless. And divisional games are always, I feel like, it's always that little extra toughness that the guys play with, just because there is some. Even though we've already clinched the division, there's still some like
Little
I don't
pride.
think any team pride. Like I don't think they'll. I think they're gonna put up some sort of fight. I don't
Yeah.
know. So, um, yeah. Other news is that they opened up I believe it's the practice window or the window for Elijah Mitchell to start practicing and coming back. That was
Mm-hmm.
open this week, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So we will see how that goes. And see about that. I don't believe there's anything else really significant that I could remember seeing popping up. Is there anything that I'm missing out of big news or anything
No,
like
I
that?
think the seating issue is the big thing. Whether or not we
Hmm.
play, who we play. Because it's pretty simple. We got to win, and the Eagles have to lose for us to get. I mean, if we lose and then the Vikings win, we could drop back down to 3. So I mean, that's
Mm.
still. But they're playing the Bears, and the Bears aren't going to be playing Justin Fields, and they're just knocked up or nicked up all over the place. So I highly doubt. I don't see the Bears beating them. The Vikings should
Right.
win, so we need to win this game just to keep ahead of them. Um, between that and the whole thing with Hamlin and everything, that's pretty much been the news for the most part of this week. My biggest takeaway from this week is that most of this has got to get towards stuff like getting ready for the playoffs.
Playoff.
Like the biggest issue I'm looking at right now is that I know we all love Tano Hufanga right now. He is probably he's one of you know the faithful's favorite players right now, but he has been giving up a ton of touchdowns lately.
He's been
He
struggling.
and it's not that he's been struggling; it's that with his game, it's still so instinctual to where if he doesn't make that big play, it's because he's giving up a big play. And the
Mm.
guys over at Niner Nation, I forget which one of them, I was listening to their podcast earlier this week, that
Hmm.
he's basically the safety version of Trayvon Diggs from um, the Cowboys at cornerback. Either he
Okay.
gets the interception or he gives up a touchdown. Hufanga's the same way. Either he gets that big hit in the backfield or something like that, or he's giving up a touchdown. Like I think it's like he's given up 7 in the last 5 games, or vice versa on the numbers. I'm having a so it's like we almost need. We're gonna have to, and I'm guessing Demarc. We don't need to tell DeMarco Ryans, hey, we need to figure this out. I'm sure he's already working on it. He said something about the presser. I didn't catch it. I wasn't able to watch the presser today. But basically,
Hmm.
we're going to have to layer somebody on that side with probably with Diamador Lenore and Hufanga, because teams are picking on those two really bad because both of them are so ultra aggressive at everything that if they bite on anything, like a double route or anything like that, both of them, they're going to bite on that because they want to make that big play. The
Hmm.
problem is, just like if you make that double move and they get caught, there's nobody behind. So we're gonna
Yeah.
start, rolling the defense or anything like that. But so a lot of that, we just gotta get ready for the playoffs at this point. No matter what the seed is, little things
Gotta
like
be
that need
ready.
to be worked on going into that.
Yeah, because The good thing is that there's quite a few players who have been to the playoffs on this particular team too. There will be some sort of experience from this team, but we also have quite a few young players too. So it will be interesting, but I know that the team is probably very focused on Arizona right now, and rightfully so. Want to go out with a bang, want to go out with a win. Um, but I also they got to be ready for the playoffs with whoever we face in the whether we by some miracle get the 1 seed, stay at 2, or we drop down to 3 or whoever we end up facing. Because the playoffs are a whole different ball game.
Who do you want to face
To
right
play
now?
against
If you had to pick a team, who would you want right now?
right now,
More than likely, you're going to get Seattle, Detroit, or Green Bay. I'm taking Seattle.
Yeah, probably. That's probably hates. I don't like the Seahawks at all, but yeah.
And I hate that third time in the season bullshit. But you got Aaron Rodgers on his final tour as well, and say what we want. Yeah, we
As
own the
much as we
Packers.
beaten Green Bay in the playoffs, I really, really don't want to. I really don't want because it's gonna end up happening. It's just
It
gonna
has
end
to
up
at some point.
Yeah,
And then the
whatever it
Lions,
is, that Murphy's Law or whatever is gonna come back.
the Lions are a little bit scary too with their offense because they put up more points than the Bills.
That's a lot. Like I recently heard something that the Lions are kind of turning it around a little bit. They're starting to clicking.
Their defense
so that's
isn't
a
the
little bit
greatest,
interesting.
So that leaves us with Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And with Seattle, yeah, we know them and we know how to play them. But they also then going into that with Seattle, with the issue with Lenore and him being super aggressive and stuff like that. Who do you put Ward on? Because Seattle does have two good wide receivers in
Lockett
and Metcalf. So who do you want to shut down with anybody? You know what I mean? So like I said, of everybody the possibility, I still want the Seahawks, even though if the Packers get in, it's going to be another hell week in my house between me and my wife. And those are always fun weeks because we do nothing but talk trash to each other all week. And then what we do is we have like our thing is we get up in the morning, we have breakfast together, and I'm like, all right, bitch, fuck you, I'm divorcing you for the next 5 hours.
That's funny.
But yeah, so it's like I would take Seattle.
Out of all those options, regardless of how many times we beat Green Bay in the playoffs, it's still Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
there's still that element of him being able to do whatever the hell he wants.
And they've been hot right now. The last month and a half or so. You tell me in the middle of November that pretty much everybody was like, Packers ain't making the playoffs. Yeah. Now I believe if they win, they're in. I think they have their own fate in their own hands right now. So then they're playing the Lions on Sunday Night Football to end the season.
That'll probably end up being a good game.
Yeah. There's a lot on the line with that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say Seattle too. Man, I still don't like playing them 3 times though. That still makes me mad.
No matter what you do, no matter who you take, there's something where I'm just like, but I mean, it's the playoffs. Everybody gets better.
Because we've had such bad luck sometimes with these weird things. Like whatever bad case scenario, sometimes it ends up happening. So I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah, and then look at what happened. Was it last season when we opened the season with the Lions? Mm-hmm. Weren't we up like 21 with like 10 minutes left to go in the fourth or something like that?
And they came back.
We had to get the onside kick to win it with like 40 seconds left. And I think it was Fred Warner that recovered it at the very end.
Those are the games that I love to hate because they stress me out so much most of the time. But they're the most entertaining. Alrighty. Let's see.
I said that about the Rams last year. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that's just eventually it comes around to bite you. Like you could stomp them, 50-0 20 times. that one time it'll be in the playoffs, in that, just like with the Rams, like Damien was saying last year, we had dominated them, and even in that NFC Championship game, it was a damn good game, and they just that one last thing.
Yep. Damon also says I don't like playing a team more than 3 times. And I agree.
Anything more, the third time I just can't stay. I hate it, especially if you swept them during the regular season. You know what I mean? Like if we beat Seattle twice. I don't like that third time. If you split it for some reason, if you split it 1-1, it feels better. But if you're going into the playoffs and you're 2-0 against them that season, it just feels a little bit more like, can we get this third one?
Yeah, it feels like I don't know, the football gods on our side this time, and everything's going to go right. I don't know how to explain it, but there's just that element of a little bit more anxiety than normal, I guess. I believe so. Yeah. Besides that, I believe that is all of the news. Jason, you had some stuff that you wanted to go over.
Yeah, quick recap of the Arizona Cardinals. So they are 4-12 right now, last in the NFC West. They're actually on a 6-game losing streak. They have not won in a while. Their offense only scores 20.4 points a game, which is 21st in the league. Their offense is an absolute mess right now. You got their running backs. You had James Conner being ruled out with an IR, or he's been out for a while in IR, or he's been ruled out for tomorrow or Sunday. I'm all sorts of mixed up. And then Darrell Williams is on IR. So their running back is either going to be Corey Clement or Ku Tanae Ingram. I hope I said that man's name right. If I didn't, I'm sorry. Neither of them have over 200 yards rushing for the entire season. So they have no running game for the most part. At wide receivers, DeAndre Hopkins is not playing. So that makes Hollywood Marquise Brown their number one receiver with 66 catches, 700 yards, and only 3 touchdowns on the entire season. So for the most part, and then remember, they made that trade for Robbie Anderson from the Panthers mid-season, or beginning the middle of the season. He's done absolutely nothing. So again, with their wide receiving core, they have pretty much nothing. Then we get to their quarterback room. They, like us, have had quarterback issues all year long. Colt McCoy was ruled out again, so now they are down to their 4th quarterback, and he is no Brock Purdy. David Blau, he's one game, 22 of 40, 220 yards, and 1 touchdown. That's it. That's all we got in him. We got nothing else for this man for the entire season. So just based on that, there's nothing on this offense to where this defense should not feast for the most part. Now, again, we said that about the Raiders, and look what the Raiders did. They put 500 yards of offense on us. So, but I think this one is scraping even some of these stuff like
more.
Yeah, like you say you want to say you scrape the bottom of the barrel with the Raiders. The Cardinals are so beat up. I don't even think some of their players are actually in the barrel. They're flowing out of the barrel with how low they're picking up stuff. Their defense, not much more on that. They're giving up 25.7 points per game, which is 27th in the league. And then on third down, they are the absolute worst team in the league. It's kind of weird. So against the pass, they are the 2nd best team in the league when it comes to long balls of anything over 15 to 20 yards.
Now, do you mean defending or actually on offense?
On defending. Okay. Yep. But they are the absolute worst team in the league when it comes to anything 10 yards and below. And guess what this San Francisco 49ers team does really good? 10 yards and below with the Yak brothers.
It's true. It's very true.
More than likely, we are going to be, obviously, no matter how good they were, that we're going to be throwing the ball short, and the Yak brothers should be getting lots of yak this week.
Nice.
So it's kind of weird. You're really good against a deep ball, but for some reason you can't cover before that. So it's kind of a weird. It's a really funky
That is strange. That is very strange.
Let's see. So unfortunately, their defensive backfield, there's no Budda Baker for George Kittle to run over this. He's on IR.
Aww.
So we get to miss. Hey, I love seeing those two guys go against each other because I'm not sure if they actually don't like each other or they're just that competitive against each other. because it almost feels
Maybe
like
a little bit of both.
yeah, it's like they almost feels like they really don't like each other, kind of the way they play, because they just go at it. Like Kittle looks for him when he catches the ball. Like he's like, "Where is Buddha?"
I still remember when we played. Was it last year, or the year before? And we were down in Arizona, and the Kittle scored a touchdown, and then they skimmed him on the sidelines, and he was mouthing, like you tell by how he was mouthing. He's like, "I'm still here, Buddha," or he said something like that.
I think it was last season.
Yeah, I still remember
I think he got 2 touchdowns in that game, because there was that one.
Yeah,
and then one of them where he just ran Buddha over, kind of a thing. So I mean, like I said, I think that one might be getting a little personal between those two. We'll see. They're probably going to have Jaron Thompson, 74 tackles, 8 pass deflects. That's pretty much, again, decimated by injuries. Their linebackers, Isaiah Thomas, he's got 63 tackles, 3 sacks, and 2 picks. Not bad overall. But then the defensive line, obviously, this is going to be the last game for J.J. Watt. Right now, he's coming into the league with 10.5 sacks, which not bad for him. An interior defensive lineman.
At his age?
Yeah, too? At his age, interior lineman, yeah, that's a pretty damn good stat line for him.
Yes.
And he also has 17 tackles for loss this season. So like I said, with everything that's been going on is bad for the Cardinals this year, Watt has still been a pretty one. He kind of blindsided the organization. I was going to say it's like 2 weeks ago, just all of a sudden was like woke up, was like, "Hey guys, I'm retiring. It's my last season." No one knew anything about it, so it's just kind of come on. So he's not going to get that farewell tour that a lot of good players get on their way out. He's been a great player for all these years. He was Defensive Player of the Year in, like, written down, 14, 15, and 17. And then in 2017, probably the one award everybody wants to win more than anything else, he won the Walter Payton Man of the Year award.
Nice.
So I think he's going to end his career with, like, let's see, I think he's got 108 right now. I can see him trying to go for that 110 mark.
Yeah, for sure.
And I know he's an interior lineman for the most part, but I really want to see him line up over Trent Williams a couple times.
That would be a lot of fun, to be honest.
Yeah, just to see these two guys who have been at the top of their game for years and years and years. As far as we know, Trent isn't retiring at the end of this year. But, to see J.J. Watt, Trent Williams, one-on-one, test yourself one last time. Can I beat him? So there's that. As far as the betting goes right now, the over-under the points, over-under on the points is for 40.5. And then the Niners are favored by 14.5. That is absolutely insane.
That's a lot.
That is a shit ton.
Oh my god.
So I mean, it's just like I said.
I know we destroyed them in Mexico, but I don't know.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
14.5 is a lot. And then so you're talking about over under. 14.5, or excuse me, the over-under being 40. So we're going to score, what, 30-ish to their 10? Somewhere in there. I mean,
if the offense plays how it's been playing, then yeah, probably.
I mean, I'll tell you right now, that's my final score is 30-10. So, I mean, like I said, there's some 14.5. It's funny because the Eagles and the Giants the Eagles are favored by 14.5, but that's because they're also predict, the Giants have all said we're not playing our players, we're getting them ready for next week. Another thing with betting, as far as betting goes this year, Vegas is no longer putting out odds for Nick Bosa for him to win Defensive Player of the Year. Basically, if you don't know what that means, he is so favored to win Defensive Player of the Year, they're not taking any more odds up. They're just like, look, he's going to win it. It's damn near 100%. So they're not even giving out odds anymore.
Hopefully he does.
So, yeah, I mean, minus Micah Parsons going out there and having like a 6-7 sack game, there should be no reason Nick Bosa. Now, Bosa probably needs to end the season with a sack or two to kind of, help that along. But for the most part, it's going to be Bosa. There's no other person who has had the impactfulness of his season all season long. And look, he's the sack leader, missing a game and a half, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, I honestly thought last week he was going to get a couple of sacks, past or get the Niners team record for 19 and a half and get past Alden, or at least tie Alden Smith. And then this week we could turn him loose to try and get the all-time sack lead. But obviously he didn't get it. I don't think we had any sacks last week. So
Yeah.
at the very least, I see him going out trying to get that at least team record.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Fantasy football, I know a lot of people are going to be doing their championship weeks. I don't know what to do. Go ahead and start, start Kittle, start CMC, start, Brock as your second wide receiver, start Ayuk. But just know, depending on if things get out of hand in some of those other teams, and, midway through the third, maybe beginning of the fourth, if one of those teams has already sold up their game and we start pulling players, you might get screwed on that. So it's kind of a, hit or miss with how that goes.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, that makes sense because if it becomes a blowout, they're going to start pulling players so players don't get hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And that's all I got for this breakdown.
All right. So, believe we kind of already talked about it, but I believe we're both in agreement. Niners should be able to win this game pretty handedly.
I won't say easy,
but especially if all of Arizona's injuries and all of that, and then yeah, I mean, I could definitely see, like, your score prediction was 30-10 Niners. Yes. I could definitely see something like that happening. If the offense keeps operating like it has, even though the game was close last week, we still almost scored 40 points. So the offense is still clicking and still doing stuff. So I just don't. If the offense keeps playing and the defense plays better than they played last week, I just don't see how we don't win this game.
Yeah. So. But unfortunately, we said the exact same thing last week. And look what happened with that game.
It did not go as smooth as we had hoped.
No, it did not.
For last week. Which in a way I think is probably a good thing for Purdy, just so he doesn't.
I loved it.
Clean games, like perfect games.
Yeah, everybody kept asking, can he bring this team back? He brought us back twice. So there is that. So, everybody who was wondering, can he do that and this and that? Yes, Brock Purdy can. He showed, like I said, twice. He's able to bring this team back, if the defense has an off day.
Yes, he is. I mean, I am so curious to see how he does in the playoffs and see how far he can go, because it feels like nothing phases him. He always seems very calm, very poised, and everything. And it's like, ever since he stepped on that field after Jimmy got hurt, it's kind of crazy. I don't know. It's been very fun to watch. So, yeah, I'm very curious to see how he does.
Interesting offseason coming up.
Oh my God, I'm not even ready to talk about what I have to say.
I know. I don't even want to. Like, I'll wait for the offseason because right now I'm just on this ride for this season.
Apologizing to you guys in advance. It's probably going to be a lot of quarterback talk in the offseason.
Again.
And I know that's kind of been the theme for the last however many years, but
like 3 years has been that way. Yeah, same.
Because for some reason, it always ends up the most interesting point of conversation. So,
and it's not even that. Yes, the quarterback is the prime position, all that. It's like you're going to be able to have legitimate conversations and points to where it's like, okay, you want Trey? This is why. It's like, okay, that makes sense. Oh, you want Brock Purdy? Okay, this makes sense. Oh, you want to bring Jimmy back? Okay, this makes sense. So it's just like everything you say can be taken, as a truth, because you'll have facts and whatnot to back it up. And it's just like, here we go again.
I know.
Buckle in.
It's gonna
Buckle in, boys.
It's going to be crazy. I think regardless of whatever happens in the playoffs, I am just excited that we got to see at least what Brock Purdy can do. I think that's always very cool. And yeah, I'm pretty excited to see what keep going on. Yeah, so the final week of the regular season, division rival opponent. Gonna be a fun game. I almost ended up going to this game. I thought about it. It would have been fun. But
Should have.
yeah, I know. I should have. I did not. The tickets are just a little too much out of my price range right now.
We do need to get everybody together next season. We should start planning that early.
I
Everybody
know.
get together for one.
You guys let me
one
know
game.
as soon as possible, and I will try to book that day
Yeah,
off.
like when the schedule comes out, we'll like get everybody together. But look, we're all going to this game.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be fun. Get everybody together for one game.
Oh yeah, for sure. It'd be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Alrighty, guys. Well, I believe that is it. Nothing else very much to talk about. I appreciate you guys tuning in, watching us live, and for commenting during the show. Damien, you especially, thank you for commenting and showing up. Like I said at the beginning of the show, if you want to follow us on all of our social media pages, we're on Twitter at 9ofFaithfulR. We're on Facebook and Instagram at 9ofFaithful Radio. And we are streaming live on YouTube and Twitch at 9ofFaithful Radio. We stream on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. So tap that notification bell for any of our posts. You'll see posts, our live feeds when we go live. Sometimes we go a little bit earlier. And stuff like that. So definitely keep posted, especially with the postseason coming up and all the playoff stuff coming up. Probably definitely want to hang out with us and all of the craziness that's going to happen with that. So yeah, like I said, thank you guys for tuning in, and I believe we will see you guys next week.
Indeed.
For the first playoff game.
Yep.
Playoffs. Alrighty, guys. We will see you guys later.
Bye.
Good night. And as always, go Niners.